B15. With friend that lives in same apt complex. It's deep summer night, very hot but clear around 10:45. There is a trail that goes through a forest that opens up to a man-made lake with duck and shit. The lake is about a mile from our complex, so it's a long walk. We had some fireworks and one of those hollow hanger racks to shoot them off like a bazooka, just juvenile bullshit. It's pitch black, the forest blocks any light from houses and such, lots of stars because clear night. We walk up to the edge of the lake, it gets quiet, all the chirps and shit just stop abruptly. My friend had a flashlight and waved it around, used then to his face to do the spooky grin, making us laugh and continue to walk around the lake. I see this light on the other side of the lake. Must be someone else with a flashlight. Friend yells hey, real loud, and the light starts moving towards us. We look at each other going WTF. It starts moving over the water. My stomach drops and I grab his arm, pulling him backwards. Something ain't right. The world is still quiet like it's on mute, and we start noping the fuck out. We ran non-stop through the trail and forest, not stopping until we closed his app door and locking it. Not the best story, but weird shit stays with you even after 20 years. Matt, if you see this, I hope you're okay. Haven't seen you in 15 years.
Phone fail. Typing this out. Be me. Be with friend. Investigating alien UFO site. Legit. Dude apparently had an encounter there. Completely off trail. Deep in a woods. Lose track of where the fuck we are. It should be near here somewhere. Friend, oh, I think it may be back more this way. No, wait, don't. Friend takes off. I move to a higher ground. Can see him running away. Guess he'll look around. Sudden quiet, thick air. Hey. Over here. Complete opposite direction friend ran. Look, walk over towards voice a bit. See friend standing there. Waving me over. Hey. Over here. What the actual fuck? Something isn't right. Look back, can see friend running back now from where he went. Hey. Over here. Look back at imposter friend. Is gone.
I'll just dump the ones I saved from the Nope thread yesterday. Me and my dad are from the Midlands. Walsall. Sort of urbanized. He lived in a village in Cornwall for a few years, called St. Column. Everyone gave me this advice and I fucking listened, but one time my dad got a phone call late at night. His girlfriend had his car and she broke down. So we head out to walk the few miles, and a little down the way an old Cornish gent my dad had done some work for stopped us. We greeted him, he greeted us and asks concerned if we were heading out. We explained things to him and the first fucking thing that man did was call his wife and tell her what was up. He made us wait, would not walk away until we agreed not to go any further out, and came back with his friend, another old farmer, and 2 dogs and a 1,000 candlelight torch, and went with us the whole way. They never said why. I questioned it and my dad shushed me. We walked in dead silence along off the trails to get there, faster than driving, dogs sniffing, old guys with broken shotguns over their forearms, shells in the barrels ready to snap close and keeping a sharp fucking eye out. My dad had the torches and I was in the middle. Eventually we found her and the car, and 2 others who'd fucking hoofed it over in a Land Rover from the next village down. One was getting the car going, one was next to her similarly armed. The old corns never said much, just gave each other questioning looks and little nods until we got the engine started and drove our way back. I wanted to ask so many things but didn't. I looked at my dad and he nodded, as if to say yeah, I know. Just trust them. The night I had to leave I tried to ask, but they went quiet and told me not to think on it. Just told me to never go out on the moors alone.
This is one of recent ones I read in the 3rd book. She survived and saw some freaky shit. Link to articles.ky3 from September 28, 2012. Artiega says she and her brother stuck together until the third day. I thought he was hurt or something, so what I did, I tried to find help for him, but I didn't know there was nothing wrong with him, Artiega says. There were other times during those 5 days that Artiega can't be sure if she was thinking clearly, but she did know, she was scared. It was pretty freaky, most definitely, says Artiega. She claims she wasn't the only one out there. I would see people. I'd ask for help, and they'd act like they didn't even hear me, says Artiega. She says she remembers them looking right at her, and not saying a thing. These people were hiding in bushes. They were weird people, very weird people, Artiega says. Creeps me the fuck out that.
I got one that is weird. 13 or so. Summer, so out hunting with best friend at the time. Decide to go away we hadn't been before. After walking a few miles, we come to a clearing. Walking in the clearing because a little bit of a breeze, no breeze under the trees. Clearing seems to be a backward 7 shape, about 100 yards wide, couple 100 yards long before it turns to the right. As we need the turn, hear strange buzzing noise. Get close, noise gets louder. Go around the turn to see the rest of the clearing. 50 or so feet ahead of us, in the rest of the clearing is at least 50 dead cattle. Millions of flies everywhere over summer bloated corpses. We were upwind, so until we got close, couldn't smell the dead rot. Decide to GTFO because we didn't know WTF killed that many cattle. Cut into the woods to go around the bodies. Little ways past the bodies we find a road path cut through the woods. Follow it back to the road, figure out where we are from a few signs we see. Walk back home along the road. Get back to Buddy's home, tell his dad. Dad calls sheriff's department to report it, they say they'll be out in the morning to take a look. Next morning, they come by and get us, so we can show them where it was. Get back to the clearing from the road and by following the road path through the woods. All the bodies gone. The only reason the deputy believed us was the blood and fluids left behind on the grass, and the tons of flies everywhere, and the smell. What really worried me later was realizing whoever moved the cattle did so because they saw us back there, and watched us. It makes me glad we were armed when I think back on it.
Be me. 10 years old. Mom recently married the man who would be my stepdad for the better part of the next 8 years. Visiting his dad up in the mountains. Cool old guy, works on motorcycles, loves having cookouts, owns a small pot field out in bumfuck nowhere, you're probably familiar with the type. Me, stepdad, and step-grandpa go down from the mountain to do some shopping in town, more an excuse to get the old man out of the house from what my stepdad says. Gone for about 2 hours, return when my mom texts stepdad that she's started cooking. When we arrive we unload out of the car. 10-year-old chubfuck me is slower getting out than the adults, they're already heading up the stairs to the front porch by the time I'm closing my car door. Hear a voice that sounds just like my mom's telling me to come to help her with something. Voice came from the woods. Step-grandpa gets this look in his eyes, something you'd expect to see from an old war vet who knows shit is about to go down. Yells to my stepdad, grab the boy, get him inside. Stepdad wrestles me into the house. Notice my mom is, in fact, still inside and finishing cooking. Stop struggling and ask what's going on. Stepdad grabs 2 hunting rifles from step-grandpa's gun stand and heads out the door without a word. They come back about 30 minutes later, just shrug it off when questioned, won't talk about it to this day when I ask.
Right, I'm going to green text in first person, so my horrible writing doesn't show through as bad. This didn't happen to me, it was just one of the stories that went around. Work as a logger site we operate out of is in the middle of nowhere. Everyone drives there except one guy that lives on site. He's only there to make sure stuff doesn't get stolen. Not a common occurrence in the middle of nowhere. But that's just how it is. One day equipment starts going missing initially. It's small things like axes/rope/spray paint. It's not really stuff worth stealing. There's a few poles with motion detectors and floodlights on top. They light up the on-site guy's hut thing pretty well when they're triggered. Says he hasn't been woken up by them/seen them go off. Eventually, stuff starts getting damaged. Everyone is getting blamed by the site manager for not looking after their equipment. We all swear that the condition things are found in the morning isn't how we left them. Only thing that we can find out of the ordinary is these tracks. Camp is just covered in messy circles, always with a thick, sketchy-looking groove next to them. Took us a while to notice it, because the place is always covered in machine tracks/footprints/grooves. Eventually, people start blaming the guy that lives on site. He's a bit of a moron, though, and I doubt he has the ability to pull off stealing anything. He's, of course, adamant it's not him. Says he doesn't hear anything at night other than branches brushing against the side of his cabin. Everyone looks at him a bit perplexed. There's not a single tree anywhere near this guy's cabin. He has no capacity for lateral thinking and just assumes it's the wind then. I'm not so sure though. So I take a look around the cabin. There is a really deep groove all the way around this thing and a shallow, thinner one next to it. It's not a gutter or anything. It's like the tracks we found before, but as if they've been walked over hundreds of times. Skinwalkers are such bullshit. There are some freaky things in the woods that do deserve your attention. Satanic cults, druids/nature-worshipping cults, meth heads, cougars, drunks/commandos. Just be careful out there. Be on a camping with my bro in the woods behind his house, hiking in the woods. It's pretty quiet, but don't really think anything of it. I'm carrying my Mosin. Buddy is carrying his tactical Yugo AKB walking, chatting, hear occasional rustling in woods. Don't really worry about it. Tell my buddy to wait, step off trail to take a piss. Hear rustling and murmuring from Innawoods. Oh shit! .jpg hightail it back to trail. Buddy just laughs at my story. Keep hiking, make it to campsite around dusk and start setting up camp. Be settled around campfire, finger fucking our guns, hear occasional murmurs from the tree line. But I try and ignore it. I'm the only one that hears it. See a rabbit on edge of woods, take a pot shot and wing it across the back leg, it takes off. I get up to chase it and put it out of its pain, running through the woods, find rabbit, remove rabbit, hear gunshots, and screaming from our camp, take off back to camp, running as fast as I can, burst into clearing, and freeze in shock. Buddy's on the ground with the barrel of his AK shoved up his ass. Buddy's being face-fucked by Ivan as the rest of the /K/trip fags smash empty vodka bottles over each other's heads and jerking off onto my ammo can of 7.62. Trip fags and Ivan finish their orgy, and the war procession continues down the trail. Hear a raspy voice from the brush. It's bad, hey K is food. BVB Rocks emerges from the bush and slurps up the other trip fags come from the ground before following them down the trail. Go home and post on /K/.
Okay, I'll share. 2005. Right after my high school graduation. Had a great summer, and my friends and I would soon have to part ways. Them going to college, me and 2 others. The military decide to go camping the last weekend of August together one last time. We decide that Priest Lake in Idaho would be a good choice, not too far of a drive, and there's supposedly a lot to do there. Pack up the cars and set off. We get to Priest and we drive along this dirt road for a good 45 minutes. Get to Lionhead Campground. Their sites are full fuck.jpg. Park ranger tells us there is free camping up the mountain across from Lionhead. We drive up as far as we can. Find some really cool secluded sites right on a stream that flows into the lake. Spend the rest of the first day exploring the area and collecting firewood, setting up tents, stovex. Nighttime rolls around and we're all hanging out around the fire playing guitars and drinking. Friend D says he has to take a shit. Leaves for like 5 minutes while we keeping playing guitars and drinking. He comes back with this shit-eating grin and says, "Okay, haha, very funny guys." Us, "What are you talking about, D?" D, trying to freak me out with that scratching noise. We all just stare at him blankly. Everyone starts blaming each other for messing with D. The rest of the first night went by uneventfully. The next morning is a different story. The next morning, I'm the first one awake. Start up the camp stove and start boiling some water. I look over to where D went in the woods last night. Curiosity gets the better of me, and I go to take a look. Walk back in the woods from our site about 50 yards. See D's shit in a hole, gross, walk past towards the stream. See a bunch of fallen trees from right where D was shitting all the way to the water. Look at the back of the tree. D was shitting behind huge fucking gash in the side of it, running horizontal. Get myself together and go back and finish making breakfast. Don't say anything to the guys, cause I don't want another blame game. Night rolls around. All sitting at the campfire again and decide to tell ghost stories. Gets to be about 2 in the morning and we decide to go to bed before we crawl into our tents. Though I gotta piss, don't want to go alone because of what I saw that morning. Ask my friend Rudd if he has to take a leak too. We go into the woods further to the right than where D was the night before. Rudd and I are doing our thing, him facing away from me about 10 feet behind me. All of a sudden, I hear that fucking scratching noise D was talking about. It starts for about 5 seconds, then stops, then starts again. I look behind me and Rudd is just staring in my direction. I whisper, "Can you tell where it's coming from?" He points behind me at a fallen tree. I shine my light at it. Scratching stops. 2 fucking yellow eyes are looking back at us from under the crack in the tree. We run back and jump in the tent. I slept with my shotgun next to me that night. The next morning, me and Rudd went to see what was making that noise the night before. We get to where we were pissing the night before, and we don't see anything. I go to the fallen tree. Tufts of brown fur are right where I saw the eyes last night. I look at the backside of the tree, and again, huge fucking gash in the side of it. The next 2 nights, no one sees or hears anything. Whatever it was, it seemed to have moved along. Last night in the woods, we all drink the last of our booze and get wasted. Rudd says we should all just go out and try and find that thing, referring to whatever made the noise. Everyone agrees. We go in the woods and try to be as quiet as we can. Everyone has flashlights and is walking a line. Get past D's shit site from the first night. Everyone starts drifting further and further apart. Pretty soon, I'm alone in the woods. Don't want to call out because I'm drunk and scared as shit of whatever it is we're looking for. Then I hear it, not the scratching. A fucking kid crying in the middle of the woods. I about shit myself. Then the scratching comes back. I'm terrified at this point, but the scratching is only about 15 feet away from me. I shine my light at it. The scratching stops. And I see it. The yellow eyes, the matted brown fur, the claws, the 2 buck teeth, the goddamn fucking beaver. I start laughing my ass off. Yell for everyone to come and see our beast. We all go to bed feeling like idiots. YouTube link to the scratching sound that was terrifying us. And another YouTube link to the little kid crying I heard in the woods. Moral of the story, don't get hammered in the woods, because then everything becomes scary.
Regional Victoria. Driving small hatchback through pine forest on a logging trail. Because it saves something like 20 minutes, start to see some weird shit. Straw people swinging from trees like they have been hanged. Red symbols drawn on trees, devil signs and shit like that. Hear some really unusual animal noises, wolves. Sounds of laughing, but it's distorted like it's from a long way away. Mannequins on the side of the road in creepy costumes. A few laying on the ground in robes. One of them sits up and screams, "Nope, nope, nope, nope," driving like a bat out of hell. Over 100 kilometers per hour on a rough-as guts. Dirt road can't stop thinking about what happens to people in the die-happy forest. A place in another state where a lot of people go missing. Join side street of town. It just suddenly turns into a real road with houses still going sonic fast disco lights. Police don't believe me. Breathalyzer shows I'm not drunk. We go back into the pine tree forest. One cop in my car, the other driving behind us. "The fuck?" says the cop over the radio. "Some stuff is still there. See some guys in robes packing mannequins into a Kingswood? They were making a video for YouTube."
You mean this? Part 1. Me, bro and close friend go on 3-week hikes/camping trips in glorious Paw Mountains. Have trip/trails planned out and all the gear packed. Always bring guns. I take AK pistol and Glock 22. Bro has nugget and .357. Friend has set me 308 and 1911. Get to first marked camp for the night, arrive late. Setting up camp in dark moonlight very creepy. See large bonfire off in distance. Ignore it, since we're not that far from another trail. Camp set up and ready to make a fire. Hear loud groaning followed by animal screeches. Coming from area of large fire. Goes from screeches to bloody screams. That doesn't sound good, bro says we should go see in case it was a animal attack. Creep up with rifles, get about 150 yards away from large fire and see a group of about 40 plus people. All circled around a bunch of deer tied up. Everyone is in a dark red cloak. Some are drinking blood from the deer, others are stabbing them. Hear chanting. We all look at each other, it's a fucking satanic cult. Quickly and quietly go back to our camp and tear the fucker down. Move camp as far as we could go to where the bonfire is a speck off in the distance. Sleep in a large leafy tree taking shifts sleeping. Morning comes, last night fucking sucked. Didn't get to cook last night and we didn't plan on cooking once we were up. We all agree to quietly go check out their camp, make sure it's safe to continue our trip. Leave gear tied up in tree. Get back to our old campsite and slowly approach the cult's site. Fucking blood everywhere. Several deer bodies hog-tied and fucking ripped to shreds. Pentagrams everywhere, around each deer body and on every tree circling around their camp. Mark down site to report. Hear footsteps off in the distance. Part 2. See one man about 80 feet away in one of the cloaks from last night. Starts chanting some satanic shit. Pulls a bottle from his cloak and starts throwing what appears to be blood. We all start running. Hear him shouting, "We will find you." Get back to camp, grab our shit and run to one of the main highly traveled trails just to avoid shit. Get to main trail, had to bag our rifles. Normally this trail is lit up on a Friday afternoon, there should be people everywhere. Not a fucking soul to be found. Something is not right. Travel on main trail trying to get to our next checkpoint where a ranger post is. Halfway there. Nigga, you smell that? Smell of burning skin/fur/hair. See dark smoke off the trail a little. Well, this is fucking great. More cold shit, more blood everywhere. Dead bear half on fire burning away. See a few cultists trailing behind us. Brother is getting skittish, takes nugget out of bag and fires 3 rounds in their direction. They run off. We get about 3/4 of the way to the ranger post. Hear screaming, sounds like a person. Fuck, I'm done with this shit. AK comes out, Glock gets loaded with 22 round mag and plus ammo. Hear lady screaming and calling for help. Find her, she is tied to a fucking tree, she's all bloody and bruised. Part 3. Untie her, say come with us, ranger post isn't far. See ranger post, thank God. Truck is outside. Means someone is there. Start yelling, we need some help. 2 rangers come running out with guns drawn. WTF faces on all of us. They see the girl and ask what happened. Explain the whole cult thing. Rangers say they know but aren't able to locate them, have teams out looking. They say all the trails got closed down due to 5 hikers gone missing. Girl is one of the hikers. Give rangers the location of the camps we saw and say cult was following us. Rangers say we have to spend the night due to cult cutting down trees on the driving path. Fucking great. Nighttime comes and rangers get a fire going outside. 1 in the morning, get a call over their radio that one of the ranger teams has found their site. 3 rangers come back to the post. Hear them talking. They found one of the missing hikers dead, missing his hands with cut marks everywhere. We ended up getting flown to a station in one of the towns the next day. Asked a shit ton of questions by police. Guns got taken away for 7 days due to not being allowed on the trails. Try to avoid that trail area from now on.
I'm back. So yeah, happened when I was in college. Just to state before I begin, I myself was sober that day aside from just smoking a little bud, nothing to dramatically alter my senses. I'll use real locations too, which I usually am purposely vague on for anonymity, change names of Anons. The Stanley Park Gnomes. Link to wikipedia.org on Stanley Park, Westfield, Massachusetts. Westfield State University, around 2011. Me and my friends used to journey through this park almost every day. It was the gathering place for all the freaks and geeks of the school. I was the trip guide for this day. I hadn't tripped myself for a couple months at this point, and knew the trails better than anyone else. I wouldn't mention this fact if I don't think it had an influence in the matter. So, had a fun day, but it began to rain. We were at an area dubbed the Reeds and I was ushering everyone out. Decided to take a shortcut through a woodsy, less beaten path to make a beeline back to school. Walking up a steep hill, we found ourselves at an area known as the Shelter. I have seen occultists performing rituals here once and know a kid had an harrowed there too, so always held it with a reverence but with little fear myself as I was comfortable with those woods myself. As we worked our way back and the rain picked up, we took a bend around and the trail was covered in a slick mud. Everyone was struggling to get up the hill while they were shrooming out and I took the tail to make sure they could make it. As I waited, I looked around for a second. Hey guys, what's this? Anon 1 what's what? Me, look at this rock, what the fuck? It was a rock split completely in half, like by a laser or something. Anons, come on, it's cold as fuck right now. Me, no, seriously, what is this? Bear in mind they are all tripping and just wanted to get out of the rain, and we're riding off my confusion as they were in a different state than I. I look around, at least a dozen of these rocks are scattered around the area. Start to really get questioning of the surrounding. Then I see them. Perfectly constructed huts with pin needle roofs. I counted 6 of them, there could have been more. The time it would take to make each one, plus the detail seemed almost inhuman. These split rocks were also stacked in these little huts of about a foot size. Guys. Fucking stop. Look at this. Anon 2, look at what? Anon 3, those things, probably some kids made them. Me, no, children did not make these. Anons, come on let's go guide. Me thinking the fuck, am I tripping too or something? As we walked out, I had a feeling I was being watched like never before in that forest. It almost felt like I was in a different dimension for a moment until I cleared the hill. A day later, came back, absolutely no evidence of it. And before, they must have laced you. No, I wasn't tripping, I know that. Maybe then tripping did spur this though. It was very surreal and my only explanation aside from I don't know would be gnomes. Never thought I'd have a gnome situation in my life, and I'm an Eagle Scout. Very strange, but also interesting and almost magical. I wasn't too scared, only I guess uneased. Be camping, sort of. We had a cabin, not exactly roughing it, with boyfriend a few months ago. They're not exactly sure what he is but used to call him schizophrenic. He's been seeing and hearing shit that isn't there his whole life but he's not really a nut job, no crazy episodes. He can usually tell if he's seeing something that isn't there, asks me if he's not sure. This night he's smoking out the window of the cabin while I'm reading, hear someone calling out. Sounds like a kid, can't tell if male or female, sounds like they're lost. He asks me if I can hear it, I say yes, get up to look outside. Can't see anything, call out, no response. Go back inside. Can still hear it? Getting concerned because it's spring break and there's a heap of families staying here. Boyfriend and I go out, a little further up the path. Still hear it, sounds like it's getting closer. Call out again. Remember getting frustrated because it didn't respond and was still just like mom? Danny. Walk on a little further. See something crossing the path down further, but it looks weird, like he's kind of only half there. Boyfriend insists that it's a boy, he can see him, so I pin the weirdness down to low lighting even though I knew that wasn't it. Run up there to the spot where he was, seriously takes only a few seconds, shine my torch into the trees. Fucking no one, start to get really uneasy because there's no way he was moving fast enough to disappear. Call out again. No response, can't hear him anymore, give up after a little while. Head down to the office. Tell the woman we think a kid might be lost maybe, but he seems to be deaf and blind because he didn't respond to shit. She's unfazed, just like, oh, that's just so and so. So and so. She pulls out this picture of a kid and says that his family stayed here in the 80s and he went missing. They found his remains only about 10 years ago. Don't worry, he's not around much, you probably won't hear him for the rest of your stay. It freaked me out for a little while, then I was more annoyed because when something like this happens it sets my boyfriend back a little mentally. He has such a good handle on his illness and then something like this will happen and he doesn't know if what he's seeing is there or not all over again, or if it's a hallucination or a fucking ghost. Sometimes I wonder, too, honestly. There's been so many times where I'll see or hear something that really shouldn't be there but I keep it to myself.
Game warden in Southwest US. Park isn't far from the border. Lots of illegal immigrants, so we work close with Border Patrol. Border Patrol requests assistance on a hunting trail, looking for a group of them. My vehicle is a pickup truck, I drive, Border Patrol rides passenger, and 2 other guys sit in the bed. Drive down dirt road towards where BP saw them. One of the guys starts banging on the roof. Stop, stop, stop. I slam the brakes, expecting to see 20 illegals walking through the woods or something. Border Patrol guy grabs my arm as I'm getting out. What the fuck is that? It's not a question so much as an exclamation of shock. About 50 feet into the woods is what looks like a guy, but easily 7 feet tall and 3 feet wide. He's staring at the car, arms dangling at its side, something in his hand. It's dark as fuck, so he's silhouetted in the trees, can't make out any features. Ask the Border Patrol guy for my spotlight and tell the guys in the back of the truck to lay low. Shine the light on the thing. Ugliest motherfucker I've ever seen. Eyebrows like a caveman, unibrow crossing it like a fat caterpillar. His lips were so thick and rubbery they looked like wax lips or a clown's makeup. He had eyes like a pig, small and deep set and beady. He's carrying a rabbit in his hand and has blood on his face. He keeps staring at us. Turns around. Lumbers off into the woods. Fuck it, welcome to the USA, Mexicans. Can't catch them all. According to some of the older guys, there are hillbillies and shit living out here that are just weird as fuck, some of them are inbred going back decades.
My mother is from Colombia in South America, and let me tell you, those people have some pretty freaky stories and superstitions that they still live with even in these modern times. It's pretty awesome, and I've even seen proof of it. She was born around 1964 on the outskirts of a city really close to the jungle named Monteria. Her mom gave her to another family that was childless when she was like 2 years old. The adoptive father loved her dearly, but apparently his wife never liked her. He died when she was about 9, and that's when her adoptive mom went into full bitch mode. They lived in a literal hut of straw and wood, and they would have to actually go to a well about a mile away to bring back water for whatever reason. This one time my mom was out doing whatever third world girls did for fun and came back in. Her adoptive mom waited until about like 11 at night when my mom was gonna go to bed. They shared the one after her adoptive dad passed, to tell her that she wasn't going to get into bed dirty as she was without taking a bath first. So she sent my mom to the well. My mom, 9 years old, walked a mile basically through the jungle in the dark with nothing but a candle on a holder and a towel to get to this well to take a bath. The well was surrounded by a little wooden pagoda, I guess to stop shit from falling in and whatnot, with a metal tub on it for the villagers to bathe in. My mom had brought up one bucket and poured it in the tub, then pulled up another and poured it in. As she was pulling up the third bucket, she heard 3 knocks on the wood in front of her. She looked up really fast and scared to see what had made the noise. What she saw was a smallish man with greenish skin, long moldy black hair, jagged yellow teeth and a really long face. She looked up and saw him, he chuckled, and she dropped the bucket and ran the fuck home as fast as she could with only the moon as her source of light. She got back and her adoptive mom whipped her for leaving the towel and candle holder. Fun fact, my mother first told me the story when I was like 7 and had nightmare about being chased by a long-faced long-haired green man. Apparently he's a known entity, she said he was called the Mohan. I spent years since then looking for information about him. Like in the mid-2000s I found an Spanish article online about a girl that saw him around then. Very recently I've seen more information, but he's referred to primarily as the Mohan. Here's the relevant info to the story. In some legends, it is a satyr-like being who steals and rapes young women and lives in a cave-like grotto in the bottom of the great jungle rivers where he keeps his female captives. In others, it is depicted as the spirit of an old Indian. Brawny and stout, with a terrifying grin and stare, with larger than human stature and proportions, who steals fishermen's bait, catch or nets, and has the power to change shape into a cat-like beast. Other legends describe the Mohan as a big-headed Indian, with short legs and fish fins on his back, and very brown. He is portrayed as an extremely hairy being with a very treacherous personality who dwells in the backwaters and is feared by many people. He also causes mischief for young girls who come to wash clothes in the water. Here's his Wikipedia article. Link to wikipedia.org on the Mohan legend.
Hey/X/, I live up in northern Canada, Labrador City to be exact. A cousin of mine came back home a week ago nearly frozen to death after going into the woods on his snowmobile to hunt rabbits. He came back, without his snowmobile, or backpack, only the soaked clothes on his body, limping at the edge of the highway. He said that he was out in the middle of the forest following a rabbit's tracks when he saw human tracks. He left his snowmobile half a kilometer back so he can follow this rabbit quietly. When he saw the human tracks he assumed it was another hunter, and decided to turn around back to his snowmobile and let the other hunter take the kill. When he got back to the area where he left his snowmobile, it was gone, along with most of his random shit. He looked around and saw pic related. He took it himself with his cell phone, staring at him. He told us the thing staring at him, which he calls Forest Man, took off into the forests. So my uncle went on a day-long trek back home. It's a miracle he's alive. He felt that he was being watched the whole time, and heard noises and snow crunching under footsteps in the forests around him. Again, pic related, he took it with his cell phone. I'm not sure if he made it up or not, but it's definitely true that he was missing for a day or two. And before people ask why he couldn't have just called for help on his cell phone, we get terrible cell phone coverage up here. You have to be in a clearing, in town, or on a road or some shit to get it to work.